Before we dive into the story, let us know where you're watching from by dropping a comment below.
If you enjoy content from Amara,
don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more. Now sit back, relax, and step into the life journey of Dylan and Natalie, a story of love, choices, and the twists that shape their path. Enjoy the story. Chapter 1. Dylan, you're not even asking for guaranteed money? I slide my glasses down and stare at the man sitting across from me. Guaranteed would knock off about 20, maybe 25 million. Could be more, Caden Gunner says, tapping his shoulder. They think this right here, my shoulder, won't make it through the season. I jot down a few notes, then pass the contract back to him. Nothing hidden in here, though this merchandising section could use tightening. I'd recommend adjusting it so your licensing fee comes off the gross, not the net. Big corporations love to play games with net earnings. Also, your team shouldn't touch anything from film, TV, or streaming rights. I'd cut that. Other than that, you're good. Appreciate it. I trust my agent, but a second opinion never hurts. Got to make sure that Ivy League degree stays useful. He tucks the contract into his coat. Business slow? Brooks asks. He's the chef behind the plate. A Michelin 3-star restaurant with a year-long wait list and a $2,000 tasting menu. My office is just 5 floors up, in a building owned by Graham, the fourth man at our table. Taking on fewer clients lately, I admit. Good, Graham says without looking up from his phone. My sister's always preaching about work-life balance. Because you skipped your nephew's birthday? I didn't skip it. I sent a gift. You sent a car. He'll need one eventually, he says, a little defensive. Graham wanted to experience what it felt like to be the internet's main character, Caden chimes in. 1 week of viral hate, and you learn fast. Last season, Caden dropped the ball a yard from the end zone, costing his team a playoff spot. The online outrage made it feel like he'd committed a crime. Meanwhile, Graham's luxury car gift to a 5-year-old triggered everything from envy to death threats. His board made him hire a bodyguard. Can we wrap up the business talk? I'd like to get in a few hands before heading home, Brooks says. His phone buzzes. He scowls and pulls on his coat. What do you mean the butcher screwed up? You've got to be kidding me. I have a VIP coming tomorrow, and I need that Wagyu. I'm heading over. Call the cow house in the meantime. He pockets his phone, annoyed. First round next month is on me. Sorry, guys. I'm heading out too, Caden says, getting up. Want to send these edits to my agent tonight. Thanks for reviewing, Dylan. I give him a casual salute. Graham leans back in his chair. I'm staying. Just the two of us? Poker's not much fun with a duo. We could play blackjack. Or I could go home and finally tackle that side project I've been putting off. Graham puffs on his cigar, letting the smoke roll out slowly. Didn't want to bring this up earlier, he says, but we've known each other a long time. Since college, I nod, cautious. Exactly. So as a friend, is there something you want to tell me? No judgment here. He gestures with open arms. Whatever's going on, it's cool. I roll my eyes. Oh, good, because I've been running a secret trafficking ring and hiding 4 kids in my basement. The feds are closing in, so I could use a place to stash them. Got any space? Come on, man. I'm being serious, Graham replies, a bit offended. Just trying to be there for you. So who's been whispering in your ear? Julie stopped by. Said you broke things off. Said you'd given up on law and were just at home doing some thing. He waves his hands vaguely. You mean jacking off? No, I don't know what she meant. Didn't ask. Julie is, well, Julie, you're my friend. I showed her out. Figured I'd come talk to you instead. So what's the deal? He repeats the hand gesture. Knitting. What? Knitting. With needles and yarn. Making scarves, sweaters, stuff like that. You're joking. Not at all. And she's right. I'm stepping back from law. No new clients. Winding down the old ones. To knit? Yeah. I'm planning to open a yarn shop. There's one on the Upper East Side, but nothing decent in Midtown. Not even in the garment district. You're serious. Dead serious. He stares at me, stunned. Your hands are like bear claws. How do you even knit? Do they make, like, extra large needles for guys? Apparently, Graham finds the idea of me being a criminal more believable than me picking up a pair of knitting needles.
Chapter 2. Natalie. Next time I even think about taking a construction-related case, someone stop me, I groan, sinking into an empty chair around our usual round table at Hotspot. A waiter appears almost instantly. Dirty martini, 3 olives, I say. I haven't eaten and I'm starving. Did you already order? We got a full sushi platter coming, Frankie, my best friend, reassures me. Hotspot is packed, per usual. Not because it's fancy. It's your standard upscale city bar with a backlit wall of liquor, glossy wood counters, and sleek furniture. The main area is filled with small tables and curved booths. Music is all top chart hits, and everyone's dressed like they just came from pitching million-dollar deals. Tight suits, snug blouses, polished shoes. No one's bearing much skin. It's more about high-pressure jobs and low-key flirting. Everyone's here for the same reason. Work is a grind, and this is how we blow off steam. Well, most people. Me? I've never taken it that far. I've gone home alone more times than I can count. Sure, I figured out how to handle things myself, but the idea of stripping down for a stranger just never clicks. What if he turns out to be married? What if he's got something contagious? Or worse, what if he's some kind of psycho? The list of what-ifs keeps my clothes firmly on. A solid showerhead and some imagination are safer bets. Who else is joining us? I glance at the 2 empty chairs. Luna's bringing someone new, so what's the deal with the case? It's not the case, it's the client. He may have a legit age discrimination claim, but he's wildly inappropriate. Today, in the middle of a meeting, he said he was glad I was there because law is boring and he needed something pretty to look at. Cut him off, figuratively, of course, Frankie says with a smirk. She works corporate law at a steel company where the men outnumber women by a ridiculous margin. She's sharper than any of them and tough enough to survive in a boardroom full of blowhards. I'd love to, but he's my boss's uncle-in-law. We both make a face. Hers sympathetic, mine just tired. And this, my friend, is why happy hour was invented, she says, raising her glass, to vent about everything we wish we could fix but can't. You started without us? Luna arrives with a petite blonde in a red knit dress that somehow manages to be both polished and sexy. That kind of day, I say, sliding the drink menu over. But service is fast. You'll catch up. I'm Natalie. This is Frankie. Right. Introductions. Nat, Frankie, this is Julie. Julie, meet Nat and Frankie. We all went to college together. Natalie's in labor law, Frankie's in corporate, and I'm working hard on my MRS degree. Luna flashes her engagement ring. Careful, you're blinding us, Frankie says, nudging her hand away before turning to Julie. Nice to meet you. How'd you two connect? Pilates, Julie replies. Luna started showing up to my 5 a.m. class. There are only 6 of us in there, so we got to chatting. Julie's obsessed with spy thrillers, Luna says, placing her order and handing the menu to Julie. Major fan, Julie confirms. I think I must have been a detective in a past life. I can usually call the plot before the first episode ends. Doesn't that ruin the fun? I ask. Not at all. I treat it like a challenge, testing my instincts. Julie actually owns the Pilates studio. Technically, it's a franchise, Julie corrects. I've got 2, one downtown, one on the west side. That's awesome, I say, lifting my glass in her direction. When did you start? 2 years back. I used to work for an electronics company. Hated it. The woman who owned the studio wanted to retire and offered to sell. I took out a big loan and bought it. Good for you. Sounds like things are going well. Business-wise, sure, Julie says, wrinkling her nose. But personal life? That's another story. Seems like I can only get one area right at a time. We live for stories like that, Frankie says eagerly. That's half the reason these Wednesday nights exist. Julie's been down since she broke up with her boyfriend last week, Luna explains as the waiter brings our drinks. I basically had to drag her out tonight. What happened? No ambition. Well, to be fair, he used to have it. He crushed it in school, got into an Ivy League law program, graduated with honors, clerked for a top judge, launched his own firm, even handled some high-profile cases. Then one day he decided he hated the whole thing and started downsizing his life. Now he just stays home. Frankie and I share a quick glance. Sounds like the dream exit plan for most lawyers we know. Is that really so bad? I ask. Almost every lawyer I know wants out. He's ridiculously talented, and now he just watches old football games and lounges around scratching himself for all I know, Julie says, tipping her glass toward mine. It felt like false advertising. He presented himself as one guy and turned into someone completely different. If I wanted to date a guy with zero drive, I could find one on any street corner. Gotta do what's best for you, Luna says, tapping her glass against Julie's. She gives my shin a nudge under the table. I lift my drink to join the toast, and Frankie clinks hers in as well. This is happy hour, sure, but it's also a sacred tradition. Girl talk, real talk, and the universal therapy of sharing stories with women who get it.
Chapter 3. Dylan. Oh, Julie. I open the door, more out of obligation than desire. It's past 1 a.m. and standing there is my ex, clearly drunk, hair a mess, eyes glassy. I tried to ignore the doorbell, but once the neighbor's dog started barking, I gave in. Why? She sobs, collapsing into my arms. The smell of alcohol and cigarette smoke clings to her. I half carry her into the living room and drop her onto the couch. Julie, we broke up. That means you don't show up at my place, day or night. That's the whole point. You have your place. I have mine. I rake a hand through my hair. She's the one who ended things a few weeks back, which I didn't mind. We don't have to be broken up, she slurs. We can fix this. I still love you. You just need to go back to practicing law. It's what you were meant to do. That's one perspective. Another word might be curse. You'll be happy to hear I'm finalizing my last 2 cases this month. Then I'm shutting the office for good. No, she moans. Crying woman? Tough. Drunk, crying woman trying to guilt me into a career reboot? Torture. Probably karmic payback for every past screw-up. I leave her there and go grab water and aspirin. By the time I return, the sniffling has turned into soft snoring. I set the glass and pills on the table and gently cover her with a blanket, one my mom knitted. I should make her leave, but some part of me feels bad that I didn't care more when she dumped me. Honestly, I didn't even realize we were a thing. I was at the park, zoning out on the grass, trying to understand why nature was supposedly so great. She started talking to me. Pilates, yoga, flexibility, all of it. I nodded because my mom had just been diagnosed with cancer, and I could hear her voice in my head. Be kind. It costs nothing. She was wrong. It costs energy, interest, attention I didn't really have. But trying to be a decent son somehow led to having a girlfriend, ditching my legal career, and picking up knitting. Julie seemed nice. Over dinner, she explained she'd just ended a rough relationship. Her ex had cheated with a married coworker while they were living together. She said she'd moved on, got a new apartment, found new love. It took the entire dinner for me to realize I was the new love. We hadn't held hands, never kissed. We just had a couple meals. Somehow, in her mind, that translated to forever. So when she dumped me, claiming even turtles were more ambitious, I felt nothing but relief. Honestly, that's probably an insult to turtles. I spent years chasing every accolade. Best schools, best clerkships, best firms, and in the process, I missed the most important thing. My mom was slowly dying. She hid it from me, said she didn't want to be a burden. And I was so buried in briefs and hearings, I didn't even see it. Not until it was almost too late. She's recovering now, but she can't knit anymore. Her hands are too weak, and the radiation wrecked her vision. So I picked it up for her. Started small. Didn't think much of it. Julie flipped when I told her the yarn and needles in the basket beside the couch were mine. Called it unmanly. Like wielding sharp metal sticks automatically revoked my man card. Just for the record, my manhood is fully intact. I've made a scarf, a beanie, and a whole sweater. Pretty proud of that one, actually. Too hot to wear it now, but once winter hits, I'll pull it out. Maybe that's when I'll lose it. Like in that fairy tale where the sister knits shirts for her cursed brothers. Hopefully, Julie won't be around for that reveal. Eventually, she has to stop showing up like this. Right? I considered dumping the water on her and telling her to hit the street. But then I imagine my mom's disappointed face. That alone stops me. So I leave Julie passed out on the couch and head back to bed. She's the perfect example of why I don't date much. Once someone grabs hold, it's like trying to shake off a sticker burr. It just clings and refuses to let go.
Chapter 4. Natalie. This case is a nightmare. The defense attorney is clueless, the judge is clearly playing favorites, and my client can't keep his hands to himself. I let my forehead fall onto the desk with a dull thunk. Yikes. Frankie drops into the chair across from me. Sounds like you're overdue for happy hour. I lift my head. Overdue? Yeah, Luna called, said her new friend needs another girls' night. That bad? I remember how Julie was knocking back drinks the other night. Not judging. People cope in their own ways. I'd overheard her talking to Luna about maybe showing up at her ex's place. Not exactly the wisest idea. I'm sure Luna tried to talk her down, but alcohol and reason rarely mix well. Back in college, Luna, Frankie, and I had our fair share of reckless fun. We weren't exactly wild, but we were tight. Law school demanded most of our attention, but every once in a while we'd sneak out for a girls' night. Honestly, I think it turned out well. Really? That catches me off guard. Drunk drop-ins usually don't go well. Not that I'd know firsthand. I've never had a boyfriend, so no exes to crash on. But I read enough romance novels to get the gist. Apparently, he looked after her. Maybe they even had some steamy reunion. I didn't get the whole story. Probably tonight. Frankie rubs her hands together, practically buzzing with anticipation. Office life surrounded by men has taught her that they're just as hungry for gossip as anyone else. All right, I'm in. I snap my laptop shut. Julie is stunning and super fit. Wouldn't surprise me if she had some wild stories. It's also kind of fun having someone new in our crew. And yes, I'm curious. 10 minutes later, Frankie and I step into Hotspot. No surprise, Luna's not here yet. She's predictably late, just part of her charm. I hope her flashy fiancé never tries to polish those quirks out of her. It's packed tonight. I scan the bar. That table might open up, Frankie says, nodding at a pair of men. Wallet's coming out. Let's go make it awkward. She's already walking toward them. I want to stop her. Those guys don't look like the type to get flustered. They're both attractive, but the one with jet black hair stands out. Women nearby are trying to catch their attention. They're failing. Then he turns. Our eyes meet. My breath hitches. Calling him handsome feels inadequate. I nearly stumble before snapping my gaze away. I blame the shoes. Too tight, but they were on sale. Student loan life, you get it. I should stop walking, but it's like I'm being pulled forward. I've never reacted to a man like this. You wrapping up soon? Frankie asks them, never one for subtlety. I want to disappear. Holy crap, are you Caden Gunner? Yeah. Want an autograph? He mumbles, eyes on his phone. Nope, I want to buy you a beer. You made me a ton of money when you fumbled that ball. The guys at work were fuming, but I cleaned up. Caden finally looks up. Is she for real? He directs the question to the black-haired guy. Not your guy, Nat. I scold myself. I really need to get it together. Want to join us? Mr. Gorgeous offers. His voice, deep, smooth, confident. And that smile, dangerous. Slide over, Caden. First round's on me, Frankie says. Caden actually listens. Let's take a pic. I'm posting it to rile up the office. Mr. Handsome pulls out a chair beside him. Have a seat. I'm Dylan. Natalie, I say, taking the chair. And that's my not-so-subtle friend, Frankie. Nice to meet you. Sorry, we thought you were leaving and wanted the table. Not going anywhere. He leans back like he owns the place. For some inexplicable reason, I'm glad. Which is ridiculous. I don't even know him. Can I get you a drink? Sure. I catch Frankie watching me. Usually we turn down drinks from strangers. Too many strings. But right now, I don't mind the idea. Dylan orders for both of us. We dive into conversation, his college, his firm. The guy is impressive. How chaotic is it owning a law firm? Used to be. I've scaled back, delegated more. Burnt out? I ask. Not exactly, just don't want the job to consume me. I feel that. Sometimes I wonder if I hate the law or just hate where I'm practicing. Maybe you want more, he says. Exactly. I smile. He gets it. What would more look like for you? My cheeks warm. I take a sip before answering. Come on, Dylan coaxes with a grin. Writing, maybe, I admit, keeping it vague. What kind? He leans in, like we're sharing a secret. Our secret. Promise. Romance. Love stories, he echoes, eyes flicking to my lips. Is he going to kiss me? Then his phone goes off. Sorry, that's my mom, gotta take this. Of course, I say, sitting back as he steps away. Don't go anywhere, he calls over his shoulder. I won't. As soon as he's out of sight, Frankie pounces. What was that? Yeah, what was that? Caden adds. Why'd you say it like that? Frankie shoots back. I just didn't see it coming. He's started without us again? Luna arrives with Julie in tow. Right. I forgot they were coming. Late as always, Frankie says, pointing them to the table next to ours. Grab that one. Help us out, big guy. Caden grumbles but moves. Frankie hides a smile behind her beer. Thanks, Julie and Luna say as Caden shifts the tables together. You look happier, I tell Julie, who's glowing. Literally glowing. She opens her mouth. Well, the boyfriend and I... Sorry about that, Dylan says, sliding back into his seat. Dylan! Julie squeals, rushing to hug him. My stomach drops. So much for ex-boyfriend.
Chapter 5. Dylan. I do my best not to recoil as I gently ease Julie off me. Luna told me showing up at your place was a bad idea, she says, casting an apologetic glance toward her friend. I should have listened. Luna gives a casual shrug. Hey, if it helped you, no harm done. Actually, Luna had the right idea, I say. We're not together anymore, Julie. You showing up drunk and uninvited isn't okay. That's not how breakups work. I stress the word broken up, mostly for Natalie's benefit. Her expression has shifted from intrigued and warm to flat and unreadable. Meanwhile, Caden's glancing between everyone like he's watching a slow-moving car crash. We heading out? he asks, raising one brow. But he doesn't move. He's way too close to Frankie to want to leave. So like any loyal friend, I stay seated. Nah, we just ordered. And since you haven't signed your new deal, this might be the only drink we can afford tonight. You know, if you took on more clients, you wouldn't be broke all the time, Julie says, shaking her head like a disappointed teacher. Fair enough. I'm done justifying my choices to her. I'll cover your shot, Caden offers, barely hiding his amusement. It's not just one drink, Julie presses on. It's every time. Are you planning to rely on Caden forever? Yep, I grin. He gets a real kick out of it. I'll keep buying until I hit my limit. Then we renegotiate, Caden says, chuckling. Julie folds her arms, her voice rising. And then what? You'll both feel awkward, stop going out, your friendship will fade, and you'll be home alone with the lights off, spooning ice cream out of the tub. The table goes silent. Natalie won't look at me. Caden's smile is gone. I take a long sip of my drink. Clearly, Julie's issues go way beyond my job status. Luna gently pats her on the back. Let's not do this here. Julie doesn't budge. Actually, this is the perfect time. We're all professionals. We know that success requires consistency. Throwing it all away for no reason doesn't add up. No reason? Caden cuts in, but I signal him to stop. I never told Julie about my mom's illness. Despite her thinking we were serious, I never felt we were close enough to share something that personal. Natalie notices the gesture and tilts her head slightly. I offer a tight smile, definitely not making the impression I'd hoped for. Fun happy hour, huh? I say with forced cheer. Natalie lets out a soft laugh. We should rename it Grievance Hour. We get together every week just to unload about our lives. Big stuff, small stuff, even petty annoyances, like running out of quarters at a toll booth. That'll ruin your whole day, I say, tipping my glass to her. I'm in. But... Julie starts again, but Luna's had enough. She jumps up and hauls Julie along. Bathroom break. Be right back. A flash of her diamond ring disappears with them. Everyone at the table exhales. What you're doing is brave, Natalie says quietly. I don't have the guts to walk away from law, so it's cool you're doing something different. Julie's frustration isn't really about you, Frankie adds. She's just going through something. It's fine. Caden, how about another round? I should probably start saving for my electric bill. Caden chuckles. I've got you covered tonight, boss. He pulls out his black card. But you owe me. I'll pay you back when I land my next case. So, never. Hey, you've got money, use it. I don't mind pitching in, Natalie says, reaching for her purse. That strikes a nerve. I place my hand gently over her wrist. You don't need to. I'm fine. We're just messing around. I can afford drinks and dinner. No worries. It's 2025. Women can pay too. That's why we have jobs, she says, tugging her hand away. Please don't make me get on my knees and beg. My fragile male ego won't survive. She hesitates. Kind, but that just makes it worse. Julie thinking I'm broke is one thing. I don't want Natalie believing I can't take care of myself. I'm honestly okay, I say softly. Julie and I weren't a couple. I didn't bother correcting her because it didn't matter. But you went out to dinner with her? Natalie asks. Yeah. Then that was dating, Dylan. She scrunches her nose, leans past me to catch Frankie's eye. I'm ready to go. Within minutes, it's just Caden and me again. That went great, I mutter. Like my last play of the season. You're a terrible wingman. So you're not buying this round? I dodge a napkin he flings at my head. But he's a quarterback for a reason. His aim is spot on.
Chapter 6, Natalie. Luna has always been the kindest of us. Given everything she's been through, you'd expect her to be hardened, but she's not. Her past did leave some invisible marks, though, like her obsession with perfection and her deep desire to belong. Frankie and I are probably the only ones who truly know her, the version she doesn't show everyone else. I wonder if her fiancé has seen that side of her. I hope he has. The way he looks at her makes me think it's real love. But what do I know? What worries me more is the world she's marrying into. This isn't just wealth. It's next-level old money wealth. The kind that plays by its own rules. I know Luna wants to be accepted by them. That's why I'm practically sprinting down the hallway. I can't afford to be late. I doubt she'll turn into a bridezilla. But knowing Luna, she'll want everything to be perfect. Not because it's her fantasy wedding, but because she wants to prove she belongs with the Montclairs. Yes, I say under my breath as the elevator doors slide open. I jump in, jabbing the lobby button repeatedly while checking my lift status. The doors are nearly shut when a hand blocks them. I sigh the second I see the diamond-covered watch. Over the top and loud, it screams, "Look how rich I am." "Natalie," Morris steps in beside me. "You took off pretty quick." He gives me that smug grin he thinks is irresistible. It's not. It makes my skin crawl. I loathe being assigned to his case. "Running from me?" "Just running late," I reply, keeping it short. "Big day in court?" He hits the same lobby button and the doors finally close, locking us in together. I glance at the security camera in the corner. "No," I say, pulling up emails on my phone just to have something to focus on. "Meeting someone?" Of course, he doesn't know how to take a hint. "Nope." "That's right," he murmurs, inching closer. I can feel it. "You don't date." "Mr. Morris, I've told you before. I don't date clients." "It's not your firm," he shoots back, sulking like a child. The first time I met Daniel Morris, I thought he was attractive, until he opened his mouth. It's amazing how quickly someone's personality can make them unattractive. "It's policy," I say flatly. The elevator feels slower than ever. My hand twitches with the urge to press the button again even though I know it won't help. He sighs, and the sound puts me on edge. I turn to face him, refusing to let him think he intimidates me. Inside, I'm tense, but I won't let that show. "Is there something else you needed today, Mr. Morris? I thought we wrapped everything up." We're prepping him for a deposition that's bound to be a disaster. He's going to lie, and we all know it. Our eyes lock. "I told you," he says, looking away. "Call me Daniel." Thankfully, the doors open. "See you around," I say, resisting the urge to call him Mr. Morris again. Not worth it. He already stares too much, though I'm sure he does that with every woman. I make a beeline for the exit. My ride's already there. No traffic today, and I make it to the bridal boutique just a few minutes late. "Sorry," I say when I spot Luna. "It's okay." She waves it off. "Totally fine," Frankie chimes in with a smirk. I squint at them. "You forgot, didn't you?" Frankie just laughs. "Great." "Oh, hey." Julie steps out from behind a rack of dresses. "Hi." I smile, though a small part of me sinks. Not that I dislike her, but she's still new to our group. Luna tends to attract people, and not all of them stick around. "Do I get to pick?" Frankie's already rubbing her hands together. "Wait, we get to choose dresses for you to try on?" I glance at Luna, a bit surprised. "I've already picked them," Luna says with a mischievous smile. I shoot a glance at Frankie. "Spill it. What's going on?" Frankie grins. Deal was, anyone who showed up late had to try on dresses with Luna. "What? That's bad luck. You're the bride. This is your moment." I try to protest, but I know it's useless. As soon as those words leave my mouth, I realize I've made a mistake. Luna doesn't like being the center of attention. She prefers to blend in. "I want someone with me," she says softly. There's a quiet honesty in her smile. It'll be fun. Maybe you'll find a style you love for the future. And just like that, I'm trying on wedding gowns. A flicker of Dylan crosses my mind. Again. He's been popping into my thoughts constantly. I keep pushing him aside, telling myself it's pointless. Especially since his ex is standing right here. Besides, what are the odds I'll ever even see him again? Turns out, higher than I thought.
Chapter 7. Dylan. Appreciate you meeting me here, Michael Montclair says, as he flips through the pages I just handed him. I glance up at the sign over the storefront. Bridal Dreams. You sure this is the spot to go over a prenup? No wedding happens without one, he replies, pausing on page 4. That section details the consequences of a divorce. $5 million in penalties, 0 spousal support, mandatory child support payments into a Montclair-controlled trust. Basically, if the wife leaves him, she leaves broke. If he's the one who breaks the agreement, there's a formula to calculate a payout based on years married minus the value of gifts she's received, all protected by an airtight NDA. What do you think the payout should be? He asks. You're insanely wealthy. Millions won't even dent your wallet. Is this really necessary? You're a lawyer. Aren't you supposed to support contracts like this? I mean, didn't you draft NDAs for my entire staff, including the guy who only drops off my meals once a week? That's what you pay me for, I reply. But this is exactly why I want out. It's hollow work. There's no substance, no creativity. When I knit something, even just a scarf, I feel like I made something real. With law, it's all smoke and mirrors. Luna's different, Michael says. She knows this is part of it, and she's okay with it. Luna. My gut tightens. That name. There can't be many engaged Lunas walking around with 5-carat rings. Luna Miller. She used to work in HR. She's planning to leave her job soon. We want to start a family right away. Come inside and meet her. I'm good. I can already feel the trouble brewing. If Luna connects the dots, Natalie will never speak to me again. Come on, he insists, tugging my sleeve. She might have questions. Better to have her lawyer right here. She can email me. Michael, there you are. We've been waiting, Frankie says, her arms spread, then freezes when she sees me. Dylan? What are you doing here? This is my attorney, Dylan Wolfson. Graduated top of his class, clerked for Justice Bergman, owns his own firm. We've already met. I cut in quickly, saving myself from further embarrassment. Yeah, we have, Frankie confirms, her expression tight with suspicion. Understandable, really. Why would the groom's lawyer show up at a bridal boutique? Is Natalie here? I ask, though I already suspect the answer. Of course. Come on in. See, told you, Michael says. I step inside. It's been 5 days since I saw Natalie, and she hasn't left my thoughts. I tell myself she'll understand. I was doing my job. That has to count for something. But all rational thought disappears the second the door opens. The woman standing on the pedestal in front of 5 massive mirrors isn't Luna. It's Natalie. She's wearing a white gown, shoulders bare, the fabric gathered at her waist like rays of sunlight. The skirt is full, but not overwhelming. Don't forget to breathe, Frankie whispers beside me, smirking. If I carried her out of here and found an officiant on the spot, could I marry her before anyone could stop me? I take a step forward. Dylan! Natalie gasps, arms flying up to shield herself. What are you doing here? He's my lawyer, Michael begins. I drafted the prenup. I interrupt, cutting to the chase. Luna, don't sign anything until your own lawyer looks it over. Only now do I notice Luna, also in white, trying on a dress, but I barely registered her. Natalie has all of my attention. Prenup? She asks. It's nothing to worry about. My family insisted, Michael says, but his voice wavers. You look incredible in that dress, I say to Natalie, steering the conversation back to her. Not sure it's the one, she replies, fluffing the skirt. Too much fabric? Not enough sparkle. Can I see the others? I settle into a chair that looks delicate but holds my weight. I'm not the one getting married. Luna just wanted someone to try on dresses with her. Then let's fix that, I say without thinking. We could get married. Wouldn't want those fittings to go to waste. And the prenup? She counters. Don't believe in them. But you wrote one. For Luna. And that's why I'm leaving law. What are you going to do instead? Whatever it takes to be in your life. I take her hand. Come on. Let's get out of here.
Chapter 8, Natalie. For a second, I get completely caught in Dylan's gaze. I'd been thinking about him while trying on the dresses. Ridiculous, I know. But then, somehow, there he was. What are the odds? Dylan, Julie's voice yanks me back to reality. Crap. How do I keep forgetting she's here? Yeah, he says, still not looking her way. His hand is in mine, and for a moment, it feels like the only thing grounding me. He doesn't even seem to register that she's the one who called his name. What are you doing here? I ask, starting to pull away. He holds on for half a beat before letting go. The loss of contact hits harder than I want to admit. Working. Right, Julie says with a laugh, crossing her arms. If you wanted to see me, Dylan, you could have just called. You don't exactly work these days. How were they even together? They make no sense. Julie clearly doesn't know him. When Luna's fiancé started listing Dylan's credentials earlier, I was stunned. Clerked for a Supreme Court justice? That's no small feat. In just 2 meetings, I've learned that Dylan's witty, close with his mom, doesn't let work rule his life, and, possibly, a bit of a romantic. Or maybe I imagined all that. What I didn't imagine was the chemistry. I felt it. Literally, when he touched me. I doubt I know the full picture, but I feel like I already understand him better than Julie does. And if he's trusted by a family like the Montclairs, his legal reputation has to be serious. Suddenly, all that teasing about being broke makes more sense. He could probably retire tomorrow and never look back. Julie doesn't see that, which tells me everything. I didn't have your number, Dylan says. Julie's jaw drops. You blocked me? Didn't save it, he replies unfazed. Harsh, but maybe deserved. Don't lie, you clearly followed me here, Julie accuses, tossing her hair. He's here on business, I say, nodding at the contract in his hand. Julie rolls her eyes. He could have handled that any time. He came here for me. Hate to disappoint, Dylan says, sounding anything but sorry. I'm going to change, I say, stepping off the platform. Dylan offers me a hand again, and I take it. Thanks. Let me take a look at that prenup, Frankie says, moving in just as I head toward the fitting rooms. One of the boutique staff follows to help me. I need a breather. Part of me wants to get back out there just to be near Dylan. The other part wants to hide until Frankie comes in to rescue me. I probably have a few minutes at best. They get me out of the dress faster than I'd like. No excuse to linger. When I walk out, Julie's gone. Dylan's standing beside Frankie, who's reading the document, and I catch the tiniest twitch of her lip. She's not a fan of what she's seeing. Luna stands quietly nearby, her posture stiff. Michael, her fiancé, is on his phone. Why is he even here? To pick out a dress? To oversee the prenup signing like some corporate deal? It's all off. You good? I ask Luna. She forces a smile. Yeah, I'm okay. Luna? Julie left, she says quickly, cutting me off. I get the message. Now's not the time. This is crap, and you know it, Frankie snaps at Dylan, stepping forward. She's not livestock you can trade contracts over. Wow, I mutter. Let me see. I hold out my hand and she passes me the paperwork. Guys, please, Luna says gently, trying to calm things down. I get where she's coming from, but the more I read, the angrier I get. Luna knows she's not bringing anything into this marriage, Michael says. My legacy's on the line. Dylan lowers his head slightly, clearly uncomfortable. Good. Don't, Frankie starts. Not here, I say quietly, gripping Frankie's arm before she makes a scene. My glare says the rest to both men. Because this entire setup, it's garbage, all of it.
Chapter 9. Dylan. My watch tells me it's nearly 7, happy hour's wrapping up. I glance again at the parked car across the street, making sure it hasn't moved. Can't see Natalie through the bar's tinted windows, and yes, I know this borders on stalker behavior. But after the disaster at the bridal boutique, I figured walking through the front door would be unwelcome. Caden had called earlier, asking if we were still doing happy hour. I gave him the rundown. After cursing me out, he said he'd make his own move to catch up with Frankie. Then he added that he'd pretend we weren't friends to help his odds. I told him to go for it. I'm not mad. I know I'm the villain in this story, or at least the hired hand doing the villain's paperwork. But this hired hand is rethinking his career. Writing cold-hearted prenups for billionaires doesn't feel great when you could be making something real, like a hat to keep a premature baby warm. That, at least, means something. The bar door swings open. I sit up straighter, only to sink again when it's just 3 guys. These women need to find a bar without bros like that. Guys who would ask what you're listening to while you're clearly wearing headphones. No thanks. Technically, I have Natalie's work number. I could have called. But showing up at her office? That felt worse than casually occupying the same public sidewalk. It's a fine line, but I am a lawyer, and we live in fine print. Then the door opens again. This time it's Natalie, Frankie, and Luna. I step out of my car and wait for a break in traffic before crossing the street. By the time I get there, Luna's already disappeared into a Montclair town car. Guess the prenup didn't scare her off. Michael called it. Natalie sees me, but she leans forward slightly, probably unsure it's really me in the dim light. I raise my hand. Hey, Natalie. Frankie frowns. You said you weren't stalking us. I wasn't, but tonight, definitely am. You know that could get you disbarred. Probably just a warning, but seeing as I'm winding down my practice, it's not exactly a deterrent. I look at Natalie. Did you eat your fill of shrimp at happy hour, or can I take you to dinner? You could have just used the phone, she says. Yeah, but that's your work number. Felt invasive. This is a sidewalk, public. And somehow that explanation made more sense in my head. I pull out my phone. How about we exchange numbers? That way, I don't have to loiter outside bars to run into you. Frankie makes a sound of disapproval, but Natalie, after a pause, reaches for her phone. This might be a mistake. At least if I disappear, Frankie knows what you look like. If you're already in a body bag, I think that's a little late. Too late for me, but not for you. Frankie gives me a pointed look. I'll be watching. Got it, Agent Frankie. Natalie and Frankie hug like one of them is headed off on an international flight instead of dinner. They're adorable. I text Caden. I'm 10 feet from your girl. He replies instantly. What the hell? You should have come with me tonight. Screw off. I don't answer. Then more messages. What's she wearing? Wait, get me her number. I'll let you win next poker night. Let me win. I'll fold a hand. I look at Frankie. Caden's begging for your number. If I don't give it to him, he might cry. I'm not emotionally prepared for that. She rolls her eyes. Just give me his number. I'll decide. I send the contact and text Caden. Gave her your number. Good luck waiting. I might kill you next time I see you. You're welcome. I power off my phone and hold my hand out to Natalie. Ready? Where are we going? The plate. Her eyebrows shoot up. That place is impossible to get into. There's a table in the kitchen. If it's full, Chef Brooks will find space. You know the chef? Frankie's jaw nearly drops. Yeah, Caden does too. Text him. He'll take you. I lead Natalie across the street. Thanks for not kneeing me for showing up. Not sure what I'm doing, she admits. You're giving me a shot. I open the car door for her. You were with someone 5 minutes ago. Julie ended things over a month ago. Maybe longer. I shut the door behind her. When I get in, she says, there should be a 6-month rule between relationships. What happens if we ignore it? Bad karma. Relationship doomed. Can we just burn some sage and move on? I don't know Wicca that well, but I doubt burning herbs solves everything. We're both lawyers. We'll figure it out. Good thing we're going to dinner. We can draft a strategy plan against the forces of romantic doom.
Chapter 10, Natalie. You sure I'm dressed up enough for this place? I ask as Dylan helps me out of the car. If I'd known we were heading to one of the most exclusive restaurants in the city, I'd have put in more effort. You look amazing, he replies with that smile of his, the kind that makes it too easy to ignore the warning signs. And yet, here I am, letting them slide. Every time I try not to think about him, he slips right back in, even in my dreams. His fingers lace through mine as we walk toward the entrance. Mr. Wolfson, the hostess greets him. Lauren, how's your night going? Well, she replies, eyes darting to me with a knowing smile. You brought company. I did. This is Natalie. I had to pull out the big guns to land a date with her. Lauren's eyebrows arch. He's never brought a date here, she whispers with a wink. Just like that, she's now on my list of favorite people. I had to see it for myself, a man in a chef's coat says, approaching. His grin is wide. Brooks. I reach for his hand, but Dylan holds on tighter, making Brooks chuckle. Natalie, Dylan says. Nat, I correct. Natalie sounds like boarding school and stiff uniforms. Nice to meet you, Nat. Follow me. Dylan finally lets go, only to rest his hand on my back as we follow Brooks through the elegant space. I spot the mayor in one corner, and I'm pretty sure that actor from the action movie Frankie made me watch is in another. This place is incredible, I whisper to Dylan. You'll get used to it, and you can wear whatever makes you comfortable. Staff greet Dylan by name as we pass. A few do a double take when they see we're together. He walks beside me, his hand never leaving the small of my back. There's something grounding in his touch, something that makes me relax. You must come here often. My office is upstairs. That explains the familiarity. And judging by this building, his firm isn't exactly scraping by. With his credentials, I shouldn't be surprised. Still, I can't shake the curiosity about what's pushing him to walk away from it all. Brooks opens the kitchen door, revealing a small, elegant table tucked inside the bustling space. Wow, I breathe as Dylan pulls out my chair. Chef's choice? Brooks asks. We both nod. Perfect, Dylan says. Any allergies? None, I reply. I'll pair wines with each course, Brooks says before heading off. Left alone, I shift slightly. I've never actually done this. Dating, I mean. Then let's keep it simple. No pressure. I chased you down, remember? Strangely enough, it doesn't feel creepy. If anything, I was relieved to see him earlier, Even if the prenup situation still grates at me, it's not his fault. Still, I wish I could shake Luna into seeing how fast everything is moving. You can ask me anything, Dylan offers. Okay, how do you not know you were dating someone? I ask, referring to Julie. His explanation has me stifling a laugh. She was drunk. What was I supposed to do? Toss her out on the sidewalk? My mom would have disowned me. You did the decent thing. I still don't know how she found my address, he mutters. Not like you have any room to talk. You tracked me down tonight? True, that should scare you off. But it doesn't? Exactly. He grins, and I bite my lip to hide my own smile. The truth is, I don't want to run. Not from him, not tonight.
Chapter 11. Dylan. So you're okay with prenups? I rest my elbow on the table between us, the linen pristine under my arm. A small dish of molten chocolate cake sits nearly empty. It's our second one. Brooks insisted on bringing another because the first didn't meet his usual standards. Tasted perfect to me. Natalie's lips are still stained with chocolate, and there's a flush in her cheeks from the wine. I've eaten 10 courses, but somehow I'm still starving. Not for food, but for her. Good thing we're seated in the kitchen, because if we weren't, those plates might be on the ground and Nat on the table. But I don't think she's ready for that kind of intensity just yet. I don't know if I'm exactly okay with them, she says thoughtfully. But I get the logic. Things tend to go smoother in a divorce when the terms are already laid out. What surprises me is that you're not a fan. Because I'm a guy or because I'm a lawyer? Both, she says with a small smile. Most of the ones I write are for men. It's not always about money. It's about having an exit plan. But I always tell women, if you're going to sign one, make sure the terms are solid. There's a weariness behind her words, like she's seen too many endings, not enough beginnings. Do you handle a lot of divorces? I ask. Not really, but a couple of my friends do. It's how they keep the lights on. She scoops another bite of cake. Watching her, chocolate on her spoon, lips parting, the way she savors it, it does things to me. I shift in my seat, trying to discreetly adjust. If I move, it's game over. Do you have many married friends? She asks. None. All my buddies are single. Then where's all this marriage optimism coming from? I shrug. Hope, maybe. And a serious lack of experience with breakups. Julie doesn't count. Is that because you never realized you were in relationships to begin with? I open my mouth to object, but I pause. It's possible I've dated more than I thought. Rather than dig that hole, I pivot. What about you? Do you date much? She tilts her head. Are we doing this? Answering questions with more questions. But she doesn't wait for me to reply. Not really. Had a thing in law school, but looking back it was more about convenience than connection. We studied well together. That was about it. Jealousy creeps up on me, sudden and sharp. I don't like picturing her with someone else. What's he doing now? I ask, trying to sound casual. She catches the edge in my voice. Are you jealous? I'm curious. I lie. You're wondering how many people I've been with? Her voice is sharper now. Yes, but not like that. I sigh, frustrated. It's not about your past or some purity nonsense. It's that the thought of someone else being close to you messes with my head. I want to be the one, the only one. I reach for her wrist gently. I know it's intense, probably crazy, but better to be honest than pretend I'm not thinking it. Her brows rise, but the corners of her mouth soften. We were close, that guy and I, but nothing happened. I wasn't ready. My jaw loosens, a wave of relief washing over me. She looks away for a moment, then back. You're different, though. I want to be. I want to do everything with you. And to you. She swallows hard. He wanted to, too. I said no. I clench a fist in my lap, tamping down the possessiveness. What about now? Do you want me to walk you to your door and say goodnight, or? Her breathing changes, quickens. My thoughts go dark and fast. I want to press my mouth to her throat, drag my lips across her collarbone, leave her gasping under my hands. She doesn't move. Then 4 words. You can come inside.
Chapter 12. Natalie. This is probably a bad idea, but that doesn't stop me. I slide my key into the front door and glance back at Dylan. I can't remember how I left the place, I say, a little breathless. He's standing close behind me, close enough to radiate heat. Ever since we left the restaurant, he hasn't let any space grow between us. That steady pressure, it hasn't eased once. I don't care what it looks like, Natalie. There's something about the way he says my name, never shortened, always deliberate, that makes me pause. I turn to face him as the lock clicks and I pull the key free. It's small, I warn, self-conscious. Dylan steps in even closer. I feel his arm brush past to twist the knob. There's nothing but heat and tension between us now. I'm here for you. That's it. His eyes drop to my mouth. Well, that's all I manage before he's kissing me. Soft at first, then deeper, more urgent. My arms circle his neck as our mouths open to each other. His tongue finds mine, and I let out a sound I'm too far gone to hold back. I hear the door swing open behind me, and then Dylan's hands are under me, lifting. My legs wrap around him instinctively. He carries me inside like I weigh nothing, the door slamming shut with a backward kick. In seconds, my back is pressed to the wall. His body is firm against mine, his mouth claiming mine again and again. The ache inside me has turned sharp. I'm grinding against him without shame, letting myself want this, want him, without apology. Where's the bedroom? He asks against my neck. Left, only door, I gasp. Then we're there. I feel the mattress beneath me, Dylan's body following me down. My shirt is pushed up and I'm fumbling with my bra clasp. That's a nice touch, he says as I undo it. I silently thank myself for picking a matching set today. Something rare. His hand cups my breast, thumb brushing over a nipple that hardens at his touch. I arch toward him, needing more. More, I whisper. He leans in, murmuring against my skin. You always smell so good. I bet you taste just as sweet. Then his mouth is on me, hot, wet, firm. I moan again, fingers tightening in his hair. He sucks, switches sides, and I nearly lose my mind. And it's not enough. As if reading me, his hand trails down, unfastening my jeans. Knew you'd be sweet, he says, kissing his way down my body. But I need more. He stands for a moment. I start to protest, but he stops me. Not leaving, baby. My jeans come off, heels already gone. I hadn't even noticed. Shirt too, he says, voice low. I toss it off quickly, suddenly shy under his gaze. But when I see how he's looking at me, like I'm the only thing he's ever wanted, I let the moment wash over me. He kneels, pulling me to the edge. Is this for me? He asks, tracing a finger along my panties. When he presses against me, I jolt. All for you, I manage to say. Then his mouth is on me, his tongue, slow and purposeful. My hips try to chase the pleasure, but he holds me still. Trust me, he says. I'll always give you what you need. And then he does. Completely. I fall apart in his hands, breathless, undone, trusting him with everything.
Chapter 13. Dylan. Natalie wanders into the kitchen the next morning, looking adorably tousled. Her hair is a messy halo off to one side, and the shirt she's wearing, my t-shirt, is inside out. Probably my fault. Hope you don't mind, I say, lifting a spatula. How do you like your eggs? She shakes her head as she drops onto the bar stool and sips the coffee I placed in front of her. Clearly not a morning person. Are those pancakes? I nod toward the plate of freshly made blueberry pancakes. Yep, just came off the skillet. Scrambled then, she says. I like the yolks runny if there's toast, but scrambled works. She takes another long sip of coffee like it's the only thing keeping her upright. I prepare her plate in silence until she finally breaks it. Is this normal? I glance at her, confused. The morning after, she clarifies. Aren't you supposed to sneak out in the middle of the night or something? Why would walking out of your place be shameful? I slide the plate in front of her. Honestly, the only reason I wouldn't broadcast this to the world is because I'd be too busy fighting off all the other guys who'd want a shot at being here instead of me. Her cheeks flush a warm pink, just like last night. It takes every ounce of willpower not to clear the counter and make love to her right there. But not yet. This deserves patience. You doing anything today? She shakes her head, still focused on her pancakes. We could catch a movie, or come with me. I promised my mom I'd pick up some new kitchen towels for her. The ones she's using are practically vintage. I love a good houseware store, she says, smiling. Perfect. But we'll swing by my place first. I'd rather not show up at Sur la Table flying commando. Would they know? She teases. Maybe not. But I can't risk causing a scene with my magnetism. Can't have that. I've already eaten, so while she finishes, I clean up. Then I lean against the counter, watching her. Her cheeks flush deeper under my gaze, a mirror of the look she had when I was between her thighs. When she's done, I lead her back to the bedroom, where I indulge in a second helping, one that leaves her trembling and me tasting her on my tongue long after we've dressed and headed out. At the store, Natalie picks out cheerful green towels with yellow ducks for my mom and grabs a strawberry slicer for herself. Says it's for a compote she's planning to make. I spot some tea cozies shaped like chickens and pick one up. Your mom like chickens? Natalie asks, already moving to swap the duck towels. I stop her with a light touch. Keep the ducks, they're cute. I return the cozy. I was just checking how they were made. Thought they might be hand-knit, but they're machine-stitched. She leans in close to inspect it. How can you tell? I flip it over to show the inside seam. Hand-knit items don't usually have seams like this. They're shaped with stitch increases and decreases. Wow, you know your stuff. Did you have a client who knits? I freeze for a split second. Julie's voice echoes in my head. That's a girl's hobby. I almost say the truth, that I knit, but I hold back. I'll tell Natalie eventually, after more time, after she knows me better. My mom. She always had yarn and needles in her hands. Knit everywhere, on the subway, during movie previews, even in checkout lines. I always wanted to learn, Natalie says as we check out. Well, not always. But during COVID, I really thought about picking it up. Didn't have the time? I guess. Law didn't exactly slow down. Exactly. Now, weirdly, I do. Maybe I should try. I think I could teach you. We could knit together. But what I say is, there are great videos out there. I learned online. My mom was too sick at the time, and by the time she was well again, I'd already figured it out. The best way to learn is by doing, I add. echoing something I once heard her tell someone else. Natalie smiles at me as we gather our bags. She's not Julie, and I'm not hiding forever. Let's go give these to my mom.
Chapter 14. Natalie. It isn't until we're halfway to Dylan's mom's front porch that it hits me. This is moving fast. Meeting the mother? Isn't that supposed to come 6 months in? Maybe even a year? Why didn't that occur to me earlier? There's no way I'd introduce him to my mom right now. She'd overanalyze everything, make snap judgments, and find a way to scare him off, especially once she learns he's a lawyer. In some ways, she reminds me of Julie. My mom's always pushed perfection. Look it, live it, project it. She probably nudged me toward law just for the prestige of saying, my daughter's an attorney. Med school was out of the question anyway. I faint at the sight of blood. Does she know we're coming? I ask. Nope, I stop short. We're just showing up? Mom loves surprises, but you brought someone with you. If I did that at my parents' place, my mom would smile politely, then rip me apart the second we were alone. She likes everything staged, the house spotless, her outfit perfect, every detail curated. A guest? Dylan laughs softly, the sound warm and annoyingly adorable. I like it, maybe too much. All those red flags I'd kept watch for are slipping away. You're not a guest, babe. He brushes a kiss over my lips, just as the front door swings open. A tall woman steps out in lavender sweats and fuzzy slippers. Her cropped hair is streaked with gray, pinned casually to the side. Dylan, she beams, then her eyes land on me and widen. And who's this lovely girl? Mom, this is Natalie. Natalie, meet my mom, Rebecca. I offer my hand and she pulls me right into a hug. Oh, you're pretty, she says with a smile, then holds my hand again. Thank you. It's nice to meet you. Come in, she ushers us inside. Don't mind the mess. I've been knitting and totally lost track of time. She gathers her supplies into a basket beside the love seat. Make yourselves at home. I settle on the couch, Dylan beside me. The house feels lived in and warm, not overly styled, but filled with love. My mom would trade houses in a heartbeat, but never understand the comfort of this place. Natalie helped me pick these out, Dylan says, handing over the shopping bag. Rebecca beams. Did you? I offered input, I say modestly. Well, I love it already. She doesn't even peek inside. Dylan's hand rests on my knee, and somehow it feels natural, like it's always been there. So, Rebecca says, settling into the armchair closest to me, how did you two meet? Don't leave out a thing. She looks straight at me, definitely wants the story from my side. So I tell her about the happy hour, the fight over his table. And then his ex showed up and ruined the vibe, I add with a shrug. Ex? Rebecca turns sharply to Dylan. What ex? You've never mentioned her? Her tone is pure protective mama bear. I try not to giggle. Someone I didn't realize I was dating, Dylan says sheepishly. It's a version of him I'm starting to love. Real, slightly embarrassed, vulnerable. Rebecca snorts. Of course, he's never been much of a ladies' man, but I suppose he was just waiting for the right one. She winks at me. You're the first girl he's brought here, you know. Conversation flows easily from there. She's genuine and relaxed, and I stop second-guessing this entire visit. Until my phone buzzes. Sorry, that's my boss's ringtone. I should get this. Go ahead, dear. You can take it in the den. Rebecca gestures across the hallway. Thank you. It's Angel, my boss's assistant. Total disaster, she says the second I answer. Guess who got thrown in jail? You're kidding. Nope, and he's up for a bail hearing in an hour. You've got to get down there. Text me the details. I'll review on the way. I hang up and hurry back toward the living room, only to pause in the doorway. Rebecca's voice carries clearly. You better marry that girl quick. She's the one. You know that already. Mom, it's... Dylan looks up, catching sight of me. I'm so sorry, I say. Work emergency. I have to run. It was lovely meeting you, I tell Rebecca. We'll do dinner next time, she promises. Dylan starts to stand. I'll take you, No, stay, really. I lean in and kiss his cheek before heading out the door, my mind racing with everything I overheard and everything I felt.
Chapter 15. Dylan. Caden already has the poker chips stacked, and Brooks is halfway through shuffling the deck when I step into the room. Graham's seat is still empty. Glad I'm not the last one. I set a bottle of 35-year-old Dalmore on the felt table. Client gifted me this yesterday. If you all end up losing to me tonight, feel free to drown your sorrows with it. Caden raises an eyebrow, holding 2 fingers up next to his tumbler. Whose fingers are we measuring with? Yours or mine? Whichever helps you sleep after I clean you out. I pop the cork and let the whiskey breathe. Brooks leans in and takes a long sniff. Smells like it costs more than my rent. He nods appreciatively. So, dinner the other night. Went well? Is there a wrong answer? I pour us each a glass. Only if you want to survive. Brooks sets the deck aside. What did she think of the plate? Any complaints? She loved it. Every bite. Good. He leans back, proud as ever. That glow lasts half a second before he turns to Caden. Now, about Tuesday. Any updates on your dinner date? Allergies? Preferences? You promised to text me. I look up. Wait. Date? Caden avoids eye contact, tinkering with his poker chips. It's off. What happened? I ask. Why is everyone assuming it's my fault? He scowls. Because it usually is? Brooks offers. She was a Wolves fan. Caden finally admits. There's a pro team called the Wolves? I ask, confused. It's our college rival, he explains. I played for state. She cheered for university. Brooks raises a brow. Unless she was wearing the team jersey in bed, why does it matter? She walked in, saw my framed jersey on the wall, and walked right back out. Maybe she was just reacting to your terrible decor, I offer, lifting my glass to hide the grin. Watching Caden, who never lacks female attention, get tripped up is always entertaining. My place is fine, he grumbles. Anyway, how did I become the topic? What about you and Natalie? When's the wedding? Got a baby on the way yet? I slide the bottle away from him. Cut off. That's when Graham walks in. Did someone already lose? Feels tense in here. Caden, Brooks and I say in unison. Caden flings a poker chip at each of us. Bullseye, right on the forehead. Nice aim, Graham says as he pulls out a chair. It's almost like you should be getting paid to throw things. Imagine that, Caden deadpans. Then he turns back to me. Seriously, man. You took Natalie to meet your mom? I nod. Yesterday. Graham freezes mid-sip. His glass clinks against the table as he sets it down harder than necessary. Brooks grabs a cloth to catch the spill. Sorry, Graham says, then turns to me, eyes sharp. You just met this woman and brought her to your mom already? Are you out of your mind? Caden hums the first line of Crazy in Love. I can't help but laugh. Graham's acting like I proposed yesterday. It's fine, chill. No, it's not fine. You're shutting down your law firm, making huge life changes, and now you're introducing someone to your mom who you've known for 5 minutes. You think this is rational? The air in the room tightens. Even Caden goes quiet. I break the silence. Brooks, deal the cards. Once the game gets going, everything else falls away. Weddings, arguments, judgment. We go back to trash talk and bad bluffs. Caden takes our money like it's nothing. Graham gets one good hand that buys him 2 extra rounds. And somehow, I end up with most of the chips. Looks like karma's on my side tonight, I say, stacking my winnings. Graham sighs, then chuckles. Guess I overreacted. Rough day at work? I ask as Brooks pulls Caden aside to talk about something, leaving Graham and me alone. He exhales. You have no idea. Honestly, it sucks that you're quitting. We need more lawyers like you. I tilt my head. You should try Natalie. She's sharp, reads contracts better than most. You'd really send her my way? He seems genuinely surprised. I trust you'll treat her right. She's a good one. You mess with her, we'll have problems. Graham nods slowly. I just don't want to see you hurt. I'm doing what I want. That's it. You should try it. Living for yourself instead of always chasing the next case. I rise and grab my jacket. He reaches out, stopping me. Knit me a sweater and I'll know we're good. I grin. Not sure you're knit-worthy yet, man. I'll let you know. Because sweaters take time. And right now, I know exactly who's worth that effort.
Chapter 16, Natalie. This is why we're best friends, I tell Frankie as soon as I open the door and see her holding a bag from my favorite Chinese place. Figured you could use this, she says, stepping inside. You made the news. Great. I haven't even seen it yet. Must have been from when we left the courthouse. Perfect timing for an unflattering camera angle. Being a lawyer isn't always about legal wins. Sometimes it's about keeping your client from torching their own reputation. Morris is making that especially hard. He was arrested last night. His version of events? He was drunk, stumbled into the wrong restroom at a bar, and accidentally groped a woman when he fell. Even hearing it makes me wince. And then there's the footage, him clearly checking the hallway to make sure no one was watching before slipping into the bathroom. It took a solid hour to convince him not to press charges against the victim for punching him in the face. Frankly, she deserved a medal, not a court date. This isn't what I imagined when I chose law. I step aside so Frankie can come in, locking the door behind her. She makes herself at home like always, grabbing plates from the cabinet. Did someone cook in here? She asks, squinting at the counter. What? I play dumb, but it's no use. She spots the clean pan and spatula still drying by the sink. Busted. Dylan cooked, I admit, and cleaned. She hands me a plate. So you brought him home? It just happened. I shrug. No judgment. She starts unpacking containers of lo mein, dumplings, and egg rolls. I went to Caden's place. I nearly dropped my noodles. You what? I walked in, saw the place, walked out. What happened? I can't believe Frankie even made it that far. You went to his home? She exhales. He's a state raider. I blink. Is that a cult or something? Nat. He went to state. We went to university. They're our rivals. Right. We hate them. Exactly. I'm still not following, but I nod anyway. Frankie piles food onto her plate. So, are we pretending this is about college football? I prod. I'm just not that girl, okay? She says, mouthful of dumpling. You've always been your own person. And that's one of the many reasons I love her. He's too perfect, too rich, too everything, she says, waving her chopsticks. All terrible qualities, I deadpan. Guys like him date Victoria's Secret models. He probably only wants me because I didn't immediately fall for him. Once I do, he'll move on. Easier to bail now. She's probably right to be cautious, but I can see this is also her way of protecting herself. If you say so. When I say his place is insane, I mean it's a damn luxury hotel. I wonder what Dylan's place looks like. I haven't seen it yet, but somehow it doesn't feel like he's chasing women every night. He stayed over, I confess, and I met his mom. Frankie freezes mid-egg roll. Damn, that's fast. I know. I chew my lip, unsure how I feel about it. It just felt right. When it's just the two of us, It's like everything else fades. The Julie situation was weird, but honestly, Julie's weird. Dylan's got this wholesome energy. It's confusing since he's a lawyer and pulled that prenup stunt, but still. I've been thinking the same thing. There's just something about him. Then go with it. He hasn't texted since I had to leave earlier. Probably giving you space. He seems like that kind of guy. Yeah, I say, though it doesn't make me feel better. A knock sounds at the door. You expecting someone? Frankie asks. No. I check the peephole. Dylan. It's him, I mouth. Frankie raises her eyebrows and grins. I run my fingers through my hair and open the door. Hey, I say. Hey. He offers a sheepish smile. Sorry. Sorry for... I start, but he steps forward, cups the back of my neck and kisses me. It's firm and full of meaning. He pulls back slightly. Tried to give you space, but ended up here. Good, I whisper, tugging him back in for another kiss.
Chapter 17. Dylan. Frankie's been eyeing me like I'm under a microscope. I half expect her to say something, especially since she caught me mid-makeout with her best friend minutes ago. But the silence stretches. It's a move I've used plenty in court. Stay quiet long enough, and the other person will crack just to fill the air. But Frankie? She knows the game. She and Natalie are both lawyers. We could sit in silence for hours. I break first. So, how'd the work emergency go? I ask Natalie, grabbing an egg roll. Not great. Client's a mess. She's losing the media angle, Frankie chimes in, wiping her hands clean and dropping the napkin like a mic. Her attention hasn't wavered from me, not for a second. I try not to show how badly I want her to leave so I can be alone with Natalie. PR's half the battle, I say. Did he run his mouth to the press? Has he ever not? Natalie mutters while boxing up leftovers. I jump in to help, still aware of Frankie's scrutiny. No questions about my intentions? I joke. Got any bad ones? None. All good. She checks in with Natalie like she's waiting for confirmation. So far, he's been great, Natalie says, almost like she's apologizing for agreeing. Frankie stands. Nat's a grown woman. I'll let this play out. But just remember, she turns to Natalie, you can't trust a state raider. I didn't go to state, I reply, playing along. Harvard, actually. Oh, right, Frankie claps once. That'll go in the pro column. I'm afraid to ask about the con list. It's lengthy, she says with a grin. Natalie nudges her toward the door. Don't worry, I'll make him work off the deficit tonight. Terrifying, I deadpan, though I'm grinning ear to ear. As soon as the door clicks shut behind Frankie, I lift Natalie into my arms. Dinner's out of the way. Time for dessert. We kiss until my legs bump against her bed. But as I start to lay her down, she stops me. Dylan, are we moving too fast? Technically, we haven't had sex yet, so this seems like the right speed. But I pause, thinking back to what Graham said about how little I know about her. He wasn't wrong. What's your middle name? I ask. She blinks. Marie. Why? Mine's Davis, Dylan Davis Wolfson, after my mom's father. She wanted part of her family in my name. I meet her gaze. I'm a semi-retired lawyer. You believe in prenups. I don't. And now we know each other's middle names. So does that mean we're moving at the right pace? I think the right pace is whatever feels right for us. If we want to meet parents and stay over and act like we've known each other forever, then maybe we should. She looks like she's mulling that over. We haven't technically had sex, she points out, but we've done stuff. Yeah, no full-on sex, but we've shared a lot. And maybe that's okay. It is. We're not comparing ourselves to anyone else. We set the rules. I kiss her softly, reassuring, grounded, real. Maybe it's my mom's recent health scare, but I'm done wasting time. From the moment I met Natalie, something clicked. And the more I see of her, the stronger it gets. She's smart, kind, hilarious. She makes me want more. I trail my hand down her back and grip her hips, pulling her onto my lap. My arousal is obvious, but I feel her hesitate. Not overtly, but just enough. She's still into it. Her fingers slide through my hair. Her mouth meets mine, warm and eager. I kiss down her neck, graze her jaw, run my thumbs over her nipples through the fabric. She gasps when I part her legs and press a kiss just above the waistband of her shorts. She arches under my touch, coming undone, clinging to me as wave after wave hits. When it's over, I rise over her, my body tight with need. I pull out and finish on her stomach, watching her breath hitch as I smear it into her skin. I want all of you, Natalie, I whisper. But I'll wait. You'll let me know when it's time.
Chapter 18. Natalie. This is a setup, Morris growls, slapping the table hard enough to rattle the pens. It's extortion. My temples throb at the sound. He's been playing the victim since he walked in the door. If you pay, she'll sign the NDA and refuse to testify. No testimony means the charges are dropped, I say for the third time. He should be grateful. It's a miracle we're even getting this deal. When the email landed from the woman's attorney, I felt a flash of relief. No drawn-out media circus, no dragging this through court. I'd spent my weekend buried in statements and PR drafts, anticipating damage control. A small part of me wanted her to sue, drag Morris through the mud, show the world who he really is. But she's doing what's right for her, and I respect that. As for him, he'll probably land himself in hot water again. Guys like Morris don't learn. It's about the principle. I didn't do anything. It was an accident, he protests, throwing his hands up. He's jittery, less smug than usual. Usually he's cocky, unbothered. But today, his energy's erratic. People get sued for accidents all the time, I say calmly. But it wasn't an accident. Not even close. He stalked that waitress into the bathroom. The camera footage shows him checking to make sure no one saw. "She hit me!" he snaps, standing so fast his chair slams the wall. A paralegal pokes his head in. "We're fine," I say quickly. "Daniel just got a little loud. Isn't that right?" He mutters something and drops back into his seat like a sulking teenager. I nod at the paralegal to let him know he can go. God, I'd rather be anywhere else. Like back in bed with Dylan where we spent the weekend. He brought food, gave me earth-shattering orgasms, and watched terrible reality shows without complaint. Total dream. "Look at my face," Morris says, pointing to the dark bruise under his eye. Yeah, I see it. I barely keep the smile off my lips. The waitress nailed him good. Too bad it wasn't on video. Fine. Offer her half. I'd advise against that. It'll leak before it's filed and destroy what little reputation you have left. Half, he repeats. And tell her I'm considering suing her. Unreal. I pull out my phone. We're looping in Shelley. You hired us for a reason. Let us do our jobs. He sighs dramatically. I press dial. He'd never speak to Shelley or any of the male attorneys this way. I'm convinced the only reason he hasn't kicked me off this case is because he's still hoping I'll agree to some sleazy dinner date. He's still got that smug grin, still trying to peek down my shirt. He's vile. Eventually, with Shelley on the call, we wear him down. This is a mistake, Morris grumbles, pulling out his phone. Drake will call the DA once we confirm with the woman's lawyer. He thinks the case can be dismissed by tomorrow. Drake's got connections, and once word spreads that she won't testify, it's just a matter of paperwork. Should have never been a case, he mutters. Shelley will send me the final statement. Something about a misunderstanding. An accident, he corrects. Right, I sigh. I'll review it, and it should be ready to go. still pissed about it. Anything else before we wrap this up? All I want is to see Dylan tonight. Dinner? You? Me? I'm starving, he says, licking his lips. Number, I have to prep everything to go out. You've got a stick up your ass, he mutters, standing. If it were a dick, you might actually smile. It takes everything I have to stay composed. We're done here, Mr. Morris, I say, as coolly as I can. He pauses at the door, smirking. Oh, we're not done, Natalie, not even close. That chill down my spine, it's not imagination. Men like him never take no quietly.
Chapter 19. Dylan. I swear, clients like this are what make me want to quit law, Natalie mutters, clearly drained. We're at my place tonight. I cleared away all traces of my knitting hobby and made a run to the store to prep chicken parmesan. Brooks even handed me a jar of his signature marinara and insisted I pair it with a full-bodied red from his private stash. It wasn't cheap, but the way Natalie's eyes light up after her first sip makes it more than worth it. This Morris guy sounds like a walking lawsuit, I say. She can't share specifics, attorney-client privilege and all that, but she's hinted at enough for me to know he's a train wreck, and dealing with him is wearing her down. He is. If it were up to me, I never would have taken him on. My partner owed someone a favor. Her nose wrinkles in frustration. I top off her wine. Did you have a case that pushed you to walk away from the job? She asks. Not exactly. It was my mom, I say, lowering the heat on the stove. She got diagnosed with cancer. Dad died when I was 14, hit a patch of black ice and a semi took him out. After that, it was just her and me. So when she got sick, I was juggling court, clients, and all her treatments. Chemo takes hours sometimes, and I hated that she was doing it alone. No case was worth that. I start dredging the chicken through egg, then breadcrumbs, trying not to get too lost in the memory. She looks good now, Natalie says gently, as if checking whether it's okay to bring it up. She's in remission, doing great. I press the coated cutlets into the hot pan. We're closer now than ever, honestly. Hospitals will do that. Did you two watch a lot of daytime TV or something? She asks with a soft smile. I think back to those quiet moments with her in treatment, her guiding my hands through rows of knit and purl, coaching me on tension, counting stitches, reading patterns aloud while hooked up to IVs. My first baby hat was a little lopsided, but she was proud. I kept the blanket we made together as a reminder. Something like that, I say with a shrug. I shift the chicken into a baking dish, layering each piece with sauce, mozzarella, and basil. Did she teach you how to cook too? Natalie asks as I slide the dish into the oven. She did, but I've only got a few meals in my wheelhouse. The rest? Average at best. I lean against the counter, watching her relax. Her eyes are brighter, her shoulders no longer weighed down. It's good to see. No siblings? She asks. Just me. You? I've got a younger brother. He's a pharmacist. And a little sister who's still in school. I wait for her to offer more about her family, maybe an invitation down the line, but she doesn't. I let it go and pour her another glass instead. We move to easier topics, what she does for fun, where she likes to go. She talks about flea markets, how she doesn't buy much but loves to people watch. There's one vendor who only sells vintage glasses, she says. It's wild what people gravitate toward. Ever get ideas for your stories there? I ask. She looks at me through her lashes, surprised. How'd you know I write? Felt like a good guess. Law gives you all kinds of character inspiration. She laughs. That it does. though you have to be careful not to be too obvious. Remember that one case? She trails off a name I vaguely recall. The defamation case with the neighbor in the novel? Exactly. You can't lift real people too literally or you risk a lawsuit. You're too smart for that. And I haven't even published anything yet. Haven't finished a story. You've got time. The law's just hogging your creativity. The oven timer dings, and I slide the dish out, letting it rest while Natalie grabs plates. We sit side by side, and for once she pours my wine. I envy you, she says after a few bites, for walking away. Every lawyer I know wants to quit. They just don't admit it, except Frankie. She genuinely loves it. So why don't you? I ask. She exhales. My parents would lose their minds, my mom especially. They helped me with tuition. Couldn't afford all of it, but they chipped in. If I quit, it'd feel like throwing all that away. And my mom and I, we don't exactly see eye to eye. I rub her back gently. You don't have to explain. She glances at me. Do you think I'm being a coward? Not a chance, I say, meaning every word. She's tough as hell, braver than most. Especially compared to me, a guy who swept through his apartment tonight making sure not a single knitting needle was visible. Actually, I admit, I've got a confession of my own.
Chapter 20. Natalie. Oh no, this is it. He's about to drop a bomb, like he's married to someone overseas or secretly into something really out there. Not that I judge, I'm just not exactly adventurous in the kink department. A little dirty talk, maybe a firm hand here or there, spanking from Dylan? Not off the table. Okay, so maybe I'm not totally vanilla. Wait, I grab my wine and take a long sip. I don't want this thing between us to crash and burn. Dylan tops off my glass. All right, go ahead. I take a deep breath, bracing myself. I knit, he says, placing the bottle down. Like yarn and needles? Exactly. Are you making ski masks for some late-night crime spree? His brows furrow. No. Then what are you knitting? That's it. Just knitting. That's your big confession? He nods. First thing I made was a baby hat, then a blanket. That's actually kind of adorable, but I feel like I'm missing something. You made it sound serious, Dylan. I thought you were about to tell me something wild. I pause. You're not secretly into something bizarre, right? That's it, Natalie. The knitting. That's why I'm stepping away from law. His voice has a hint of hesitation. For the first time, he seems unsure. Can I see it? I ask. My knitting? Yeah. Show me. Okay. He disappears for a moment and comes back with a pink blanket and a tiny hat. Pink, I say, smiling as I pick up the hat. Were you subconsciously hoping for a daughter? I guess so. When I picture having a kid, I usually think of a little girl first. A few months ago, I would have laughed if someone told me I'd find knitting sexy. But watching Dylan with his big hands create something so delicate, it's unbelievably attractive. You found something you love and you're good at it. Honestly, I'm not surprised. You're one of those people who seem to be good at everything. He leans in and kisses me, soft at first, then deeper. When the oven timer beeps, we both snap out of it. Bread! He shouts, hurrying back to the oven. I watch him, and everything about this, his space, his warmth, feels right, safe. If this were my everyday, I could deal with the job. I could see myself here. All the fear I had about getting more serious with him is slipping away. Maybe I don't want to hold back anymore, but I should probably give him a heads up. I have something to tell you, I say, as he sets a plate in front of me. Should I be worried? He asks, topping off both our glasses. Maybe, depends. I can handle it, whatever it is. I think you deserve to know before we take this any further. We're in a relationship, Natalie. So you're saying we're officially dating? I tease. I'm saying I know what this is, and I'm all in. I draw in a breath. Okay, remember that guy I told you about from college? The study buddy jerk? I laugh. You're so jealous. I just call it like I see it, he mutters, attacking his chicken. Well, the truth is, nothing ever really happened with him, or anyone else. He pauses, blinking. Wait, are you saying? I'm a virgin, Dylan. I know it's weird at my age, but it just never happened. And then it felt like this huge thing I had to explain, so I stopped trying to date. A slow smile spreads across his face. So, I'll be your first? Don't look so smug, I say, even though part of me likes the possessive gleam in his eyes. As if he already knew we were endgame. With you, Natalie, I've never been more sure of anything. You always say the perfect thing. There is one other thing I should probably confess, he says. Nope. I don't want to know about your past. Your exes stay in the past. I mean it. I know there wasn't anything real between him and Julie, but still, he's mine now, along with the yarn and all the weirdly charming things that come with him.
Chapter 21. Dylan. I lead her into my bedroom, a space that's all function and no flair. Cream walls, beige carpet, and bedding I ordered from some online store ages ago. It's simple, bare, uninspired. You're going to have to knit something for this room, Nat says, trailing her fingers across the navy comforter. Liven it up a bit. I brush a strand of hair from her forehead. You already make it beautiful. She ducks her head slightly, a soft blush rising to her cheeks. Compliments fluster her, but I can tell she secretly loves them. Duly noted. I don't know why I feel awkward now, she admits. Her palms flatten against my chest, like she's trying to push through the tension with sheer will. We've already done stuff. I kiss her fingertips. Because this is more. It's us choosing each other. I love you, you love me. We'll have the big wedding, the red velvet cake, because I'm obsessed with red velvet. But all of that's just extra. This, right now, it's real. I pull off my shirt and catch the way her eyes move over my chest, like she's trying to memorize every detail. I place her hands on my abs. I could do laundry on these, she jokes, fingers skimming across my skin. While she explores, I slowly unbutton her blouse, revealing soft lace beneath. I take my time, tracing the red marks left by her bra with my lips. She exhales, her body melting into mine. You need a break from the chaos, I whisper, moving across her collarbone. She hums, this is a pretty good reward. Just good? I tease, nipping at her breast. She gasps. Better than good. She breathes. I soothe her skin with my tongue, slide my hand down into her panties, and find her already warm and ready. As I press 2 fingers inside her, her hips rise to meet me. I cover her breast with my mouth while working her with my hand, coaxing her closer to the edge. Oh God, Dylan, she moans, clenching around my fingers. I don't stop until she's unraveling under my touch, her cries echoing in the room. Then I strip us both down, my body thrumming with need. I need to be inside you, I murmur. Yes, she whispers, pulling me closer. Her skin against mine feels like home. I guide myself to her entrance, pausing just long enough for us both to watch as I begin to push inside. Watch us. This is us. She grips my hips, encouraging me forward. We'll go slow, I promise, even though every nerve is begging for more. Her body is tight, hot, gripping me like she was made for me. Inch by inch, I sink into her, fighting the urge to give in to the fire. Her breath catches, maybe from the stretch, or maybe from something else. We're locked in, Not just physically, but in every other way too. Just me, I whisper. Just you, she echoes. That's all it takes. I lose whatever control I had left. I thrust deep, and she gasps, wrapping her legs around me. Our rhythm builds, hungry, desperate, perfect. She tightens around me, trembling. Her cries rise again as her release hits. I follow, pulsing inside her with everything I have. When the world settles, I gather her close, pressing kisses against her forehead, her cheeks, her lips. There's one more thing I need to tell you, I say softly. She stiffens slightly. That thing you said you didn't need to hear? Her eyes meet mine, wary. You're the only one I've ever been with. She blinks. Wait, are you saying you were a virgin? I smirk. Yup, saved it for you. She chokes on a laugh. I love you, Dylan. I love you too. She buries her face into my neck, and I wrap my arms tighter around her. Neither of us says another word. We don't need to. What we just shared said it all.
Chapter 22, Natalie. I power through the last few emails in my inbox, eager to call it a day. What I really want is to head home, curl up with Dylan, and leave the work stress behind, but I made plans. Tonight, I'm meeting the girls, and I can't be that friend who vanishes the moment she's in a relationship. Luna still shows up, and she's engaged, even if I'm not sure she's entirely in love. I know I'll enjoy myself once I'm out, but I can't deny it. I miss Dylan constantly. It's like the longer we're together, the more I crave him. Thankfully, it feels mutual. We haven't spent a night apart since we first made love. We've been rotating between our places, though mostly his. It's more spacious, and he insists on cooking for me. I won't lie, it's been really nice. Natalie, I don't need to look up to know who it is. That voice instantly dampens my mood. Morris. I drafted a resignation letter last week, but I never sent it. I need this job. And though I hate admitting it, the thought of moving in with Dylan just to escape work feels wrong. I don't want to risk him thinking I'm using him as a way out. He means too much to me. He's become the thing I look forward to every single day. I didn't realize how empty my life felt until he filled it. With laughter, with love, with warmth. Can I help you with something, Morris? I ask, keeping my tone neutral, even though my patience is running low. Yeah. He steps in and shuts the door behind him. The blinds are open so people outside can still see in. I consider asking him to keep the door open, but something tells me he might actually need to say something confidential. Should I grab Drake for this? No, this is between you and me. He slides into a chair uninvited. There really shouldn't be anything between you and me that isn't legal related. I'm still pissed about the settlement, he says, as if I haven't heard this 100 times already. He should be grateful. That deal saved him. Sometimes you have to take a loss to prevent a total disaster, I reply. That's what this was about, protecting your reputation. And who's protecting yours? What are you talking about? His tone has shifted, and the grin on his face turns my stomach. You should have just said you had a boyfriend. I blink at him, unsure where this is going, but I don't like it. My personal life has no place in this office, I say flatly. Oh, come on, Dylan Wolfson? You think sleeping with him is going to buy you a better position in his practice? I stand. You need to leave. Now. Drinks later? He asks, as if he didn't just say something completely inappropriate. My heart picks up speed. I remind myself there are people outside the office. He won't try anything here, but the look in his eyes, it's predatory, cold. I'm asking you one last time to leave my office. He slowly rises, smug as ever. I see you, Natalie. You can pretend all you want, but I always get what I want. With that, he turns and walks out, leaving me shaken. I give myself a moment to collect my things before heading to Drake's office. He sees me through the glass and waves me in. I want off the Morris case, I start, not hiding my urgency. He just, not this again. He sighs, reaching for his jacket. Sir dash dash. I don't have time for this today, he interrupts, grabbing his phone. You're still new here. This isn't the hill you want to die on. With that, he walks past me and out the door. I wait a moment so I don't end up in the elevator with him, then finally leave. Once I'm on the sidewalk, I pull out my phone and call Dylan. He picks up almost immediately. Hey babe, he says, just hearing his voice helps. Hey, what's wrong? You could tell from just a hey? Absolutely. What happened? Aren't you meeting Frankie? She's with Frankie? Someone says in the background. Zip it, Cade, Dylan mutters. Then to me, you okay? Yeah, heading there now, but Morris came into my office today and said some things. What kind of things? Stuff that made me feel like he's watching me. I glance around, suddenly hyper-aware of everyone on the street. How far are you from Hotspot? Only a few blocks. Go straight there. Don't leave the crowd, don't go anywhere secluded. I'll be there soon. There's steel in his voice now. You hear me, Nat? Yeah, I hear you. I love you. I love you too, baby. I'm on my way. The call ends, and I hustle toward Hotspot. When I arrive, Frankie's already snagged a table. What's wrong? She asks the second she sees me. That obvious, huh? I drop into the seat, setting my bag down. Not always, but you're pale, she says. That's saying something. Very few things ever rattle me, but Morris has officially made the list. It's Morris, I tell her. Daniel Morris? Her eyes go wide. Yeah. He's here. My stomach sinks. Frankie doesn't move, doesn't even shift, just glances toward the bar with her eyes. I follow her gaze. He's standing there, watching me.
Chapter 23. Dylan. I got to Hotspot in under 10 minutes, Caden trailing right behind me. He refused to let me leave solo. You can't afford trouble, he said. Your contract's not guaranteed. Translation. One wrong move and he's out before ever stepping on the field. I'll keep my distance, he promised. I had my doubts. Caden's known for letting his mouth and fists run hot. Inside, Morris was towering over Natalie's chair, shouting loud enough to draw every pair of eyes. Don't hire this joke unless you want to lose everything. Her face flushed, not with anger, not with embarrassment. No, it was humiliation, and that made my blood boil. I moved without thinking, grabbing Morris by the collar and dragging him toward the door. What the hell? Let go, he shouted, flailing. Somebody call the cops. I'm being assaulted. A couple stepped in just as I reached the entrance. One look at me and they backed out, giving me a clear path. Caden pushed the door open, and I hauled Morris outside. On the sidewalk, I let go. You've got two options, I told him. Option 1, stay out here, and I'll put you on the ground. Option 2, you walk back in, apologize to Natalie, tell everyone she's a damn good lawyer, and buy a round for the bar. His voice went shrill. I'm the victim. That settlement drained me. She set me up. Probably schemed with that other woman. She's nothing but... He didn't finish. My fist cut him off. His head snapped back and he staggered. I caught the front of his shirt and yanked him back upright. Morris swung wildly. I let him connect once. Oof, Caden muttered behind me. I didn't feel it. Too furious. I blocked the next two punches, then tightened my grip. The fabric bunched in my fist. I slapped him, once, then again, quick and deliberate. He opened his mouth, probably to insult me, but I didn't give him the chance. My knuckles cracked across his face, again, nose this time. He sagged. I let go, and he dropped to one knee. She got you the best deal you'll ever get, I told him, chest still heaving. You don't even realize how lucky you are. Morris turned toward Natalie, who had followed us outside. What did you tell him? He spit blood onto the pavement. Caden took a step back, disgusted. My shoes weren't so lucky. Talking about my case outside the firm? You're finished. I'll have your license revoked. Go ahead, Natalie said coolly, coming up beside me. I'm done with this job anyway. I'm tired of protecting scum like you. Even after I locked away your secrets with a golden deal, you still act like a victim. I quit. I'm going to learn to knit with Dylan. Morris blinked. Then he laughed. Knitting? You're with this guy, Mr. Soft Hands? This soft hands guy just rearranged your face, I said, slipping my arm around Nat. So maybe think twice before you speak again. She touched my cheek gently. He got you pretty good here. I had to let him get one in. It's protocol. Right. Self-defense, she said. Exactly. The knitting group won't judge me. They'd be more upset if I did nothing. I'm calling the cops, Morris yelled behind us. Great, I called back. Send them to my place. I'll be waiting. You're not even a real man, he shouted. I didn't react. Nat, warm under my arm, was smiling. You're my man, she said. And I need you to be. I'm quitting, which means I'll need some backup. I'm in, I said without hesitation. Taking care of you is the only job I care about. I'm not used to letting someone catch me when I fall. That's okay, I told her, because I'll be here. Always.
Epilogue. Natalie, typing the end hits harder than I expected. It's more than just wrapping up a story. It's proof that I finally chose my own path, that I stopped letting fear drive my life, that I dared to dream and followed through. Fear can lock you in place. Dylan helped me break free of that, not just with words but with action, every single day. His belief in me has carried me farther than I could have gone on my own. The day I walked away from the firm was the day I started living. Really living. With Dylan right there, never missing a step. Our first stop? Not a courtroom. No, that chapter was already closed. Morris imploded on his own, a casualty of his own recklessness. Instead, we went to the courthouse to make it official. Husband and wife. Fast? Maybe. But neither of us wanted to slow down. I used to think love at first sight only existed in fiction. Then I met Dylan and everything clicked. That phrase, when you know, it's real. Babe, Dylan calls out from down the hall. I shut my laptop as he steps into the office he designed just for me. I finished, I tell him, and I can't help the smile that spreads across my face. I knew you would, he says, leaning in to kiss me. So, do I finally get to read it? I was thinking I'd read it to you instead. He grins. Our next bedtime read. Exactly. I can tweak anything as we go, or talk through parts if they feel off. Sounds perfect. He kisses me again, then holds up a box. You got a delivery. Me? You sure it's not one of your baby hauls? I laugh. They were all necessary, he insists, which only makes me laugh harder, because he genuinely believes that. He's been in full nesting mode, completely in love with prepping for the baby. I'm only 4 months in, but you'd think the baby's arriving tomorrow with the way he's baby-proofed everything. Half the cabinets won't even open anymore. But honestly, I wouldn't change a thing. Watching him prepare to be a dad makes me fall for him even harder. I already know he's going to be amazing. I take the box and glance at the return address. Ah, now I know why he brought this one to me. It's from my mom. To say she didn't take the news of me leaving law well would be putting it mildly. We didn't speak for weeks, and that hurt more than I expected. Maybe it was watching Dylan and his mom, seeing how a mother is supposed to love you through anything. My hurt shifted into anger. Then, when I found out I was pregnant, that anger gave way to something else entirely. Acceptance. Dylan asked if I wanted to reach out one more time. I didn't call, I went in person. I wasn't sure what would happen, but I didn't expect her to break down in tears. We're rebuilding now, slowly. I'm still figuring her out, and maybe she's doing the same. Either way, I have Dylan's mom, who's already gearing up for Grandma of the Year. I grab some scissors and cut the tape on the box. Inside, I find a baby blanket. Mine, from when I was little. She'd kept them all. There's a note, Dylan says, pulling it out and handing it to me. I'm looking forward to all the new chapters you choose to write. I hope you'll let me read every single one. Love you, Mom. Tears prick my eyes. This isn't just about a blanket. It's her way of asking to be part of my story again. Maybe even for the first time. Of saying she sees me, that she believes in this path I've chosen. I'm not crying, I sniff, tucking into Dylan's chest. Totally hormones, I mutter as he holds me tighter. Truthfully, I know Dylan played a role in that note. He stood beside me when I visited her, shared his own story, his own losses. His strength has helped shape the people around me, not just me. How are you feeling? He asks, resting his hand on my stomach. The baby bump showed up out of nowhere. One day it wasn't there. The next, it was. I love it. Good, I say, still sniffly. He smiles. Want me to make you feel even better? He scoops me up, carrying me toward our bedroom. The room looks nothing like when I first saw it. No more blank walls or neutral tones. Now it feels like us. It tells our story, our life, side by side. My life wasn't always a fairy tale, but the moment Dylan walked in, it started to feel like one. And somehow he made sure it ended exactly the way I never even knew I wanted. He is, without a doubt, my forever.